This is KGW News at Sunrise.
The National Public Transit mask mandate has now been overruled by a judge. So masks now optional at PDX and many other airports and airlines now following. But reactions, of course, are mixed. What to expect during your next trip.
Also, a woman in Northeast Portland is safe after somebody set fire to her RV while she was sleeping in it. Coming up this morning, the reason she thinks she was targeted.
And with Earth Day this Friday, we're celebrating good energy all week long here on the Sunrise Show. The nonprofit Solve has been at the forefront of improving our environment for decades now. So we're going to take a look at the local organization's recent Volunteer Day in Hillsborough. That story's coming up here at 5:15.
Good morning to you on a Tuesday. Thanks for joining us this morning, and keep those raincoats handy and the umbrellas. It just stretches on
Today
forever.
will be day 11 of below normal temperatures in a row. All but 3 days this month have been below normal, and many of those have been 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 degrees below normal.
Do you own a raincoat?
Yes,
Just curious. You do?
I do, yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Of course
Why
I
would
do.
you think you wouldn't?
I don't own a raincoat. When you said that, I thought, I don't even have a raincoat.
I have a raincoat.
Who are you? You don't have a
He's
raincoat?
an indoor kind of guy.
Yeah, he
In our
really
Sunrise poll this morning, do you own a raincoat?
Right?
Yes or no?
Take it away. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
I think it's normal to have a raincoat.
Yes. Let's say it's not normal. I just don't have one.
We have a lot of rain moving toward you folks in Salem. Good morning. You good folks in Salem that own raincoats, good morning. We have snow down to about 2,000 feet in the Cascades. We have a temperature early this morning of 44. To the bus stop we go. Rainy areas out there this morning, about 44 when the kids get going. And then literally everybody in Oregon and Southwest Washington has a chance of sunbreaks, hail, thunder in the forecast today. Temperatures are going to be just kind of hanging out around 50 degrees as you are outside wearing your raincoat.
Yes, we all love raincoats here in the Northwest. Okay, let's talk about mask mandates because masks are no longer required at Portland's airport, many other airports across the country, and on a bunch of airlines now. A federal judge struck down a national mask mandate yesterday for public transit. So we checked in at PDX. They say local TSA just advised us they will no longer be enforcing the directive that requires masking in the airport. People in the airport now not required to wear a face covering. We do recognize that travelers and airport employees will have mixed feelings about this sudden change, and we ask that people be kind and respectful of a person's individual decision to wear a mask or not. We talked to people at PDX who were kind of wary of unmasking, especially on the actual plane, but others were very happy about the change.
Why take the risk if you don't really need to? I mean, especially when you're in like a tube in the air for so long with others around you.
I've had 2 shots and 2 boosters, and I don't feel I need it, and I'm really happy to be done with it. I think it's time to move on.
I was just elated. I mean, it was just so good to hear that we don't have to wear this anymore.
So that federal ruling does give airlines and airports the option to still require masks. But Alaska, Delta, American, and Southwest United all have said now masks are optional. We also learned TriMet and C-Tran are still requiring them on board until they get more clarity about the judge's ruling. So lots of people chiming in about this. We took some comments off our Facebook page. Lita says, as it should be, personal choice, respect each other's choices. It should have been this way all along. Let's check in on Robert. He says, too many, too close together, no mask, no fly for Robert. We want to know what you think the next time you travel. Will you go maskless or will you keep your mask on? This is our new Twitter poll this morning. Go to our KGW Sunrise Twitter page and vote. Just about 57% of you saying you're going to keep those masks on, at least in the plane. We'll keep checking back in on our poll.
A woman in Northeast Portland says her RV was set on fire while she was inside sleeping. This happened to Cherie Thomas DeClue just before 5 o'clock yesterday morning along Northeast 33rd Drive. Witnesses tell police a yellow moving truck drove by and somebody inside tossed out an explosive device. It rolled underneath the woman's motorhome, catching it on fire. Fortunately, she made it out safely.
If I would have had my propane tank on, it would have blown me up.
We're not supposed to be out here, but it's not fair for them to be doing stuff like that to us, thinking that they're better than we are, when there's a saying about them being one paycheck from being out here.
It was an emotional day, understandably, for neighbors. Many of them helped save Cherie and put out the fire. Police and arson investigators are asking anybody with information, video, or photographs to share them with detectives.
In other news this morning, nurses at Providence St. Vincent Hospital will begin voting today on whether or not to go on strike. This voting is expected to take a few weeks. The nurses say they're looking for a few things here, including better patient safety standards as well as paid leave. Providence says they offered nurses a 9.5% raise and are trying to get the nurses union back to the negotiating table to continue contract talks.
Okay, by now you've probably gotten your state and federal taxes done or filed for an extension. But here in Portland, you had another tax, and the way you pay it has been controversial from the start.
Yeah, we're talking about the arts tax this morning, and last night on The Story, Pat Doris took a look at how it started and where money from the tax has gone.
This all started back in 2011 when things were pretty tough for arts teachers in the Portland area at the public schools. PolitiFact found the statement mostly true back then, that 77% of Portland students finish elementary school without taking even one art class. They were referring to visual arts like drawing and collage making, that sort of thing. The very next year, Portland City Commissioner Sam Adams proposed an art tax. It would be $35 for each person over the age of 18, making at least $1,000 who are part of a household that makes an income above the poverty line. Portland is a city that generally does support the arts, and the people who were willing to talk with us on camera Monday support this tax.
I personally believe that arts in our community are essential, and everybody benefits from music, art for kids, art for adults. It's a beautiful way to go through life.
If it helps give art to kids and gives more money to that need, I think it's really important for everyone to kind of pitch in. $35,
not a big deal.
Not a big deal.
Now, I also know a good number of you do not like the arts tax because we see your emails. Jay wrote, I paid my superfluous arts tax today online. Whose grandchild designed the payment site? In my 67 years, I've never dealt with something so childish and repetitive and outright stupid. And Rianne sent an email reading, we have a student who lives in a dorm at PSU and they received a Portland art tax form. It was addressed to Portland resident with the room number. As a student and dependent, their primary address is our home address, which is not in Portland. And she's right, then they don't have to pay the tax. She goes on to write, disgusting that the money grabbers are going after students. So, how exactly is the money being spent? Well, a press release from the city of Portland showed that since 2012, $63 million has gone to pay for arts in the schools. $26 million went to grants for big art institutions and artists, and $11 million to program administration. It's worth noting that in 2020, the Regional Arts and Culture Council, which gets the money that does not go to the schools, they changed their focus. They now give the money to smaller, diverse nonprofits, not to those big art institutions. So keep that in mind. The biggest players who thought they would get a lot of money are now getting little or none. We want to know what you think. Should the arts tax stay or go? Send me an email, thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a message, 503-226-5090.
Let's check out some of your quick headlines this morning. A Portland trucking company that helps youth had its truck burned and smeared with profanity and racial slurs. This happened last week in Northeast Portland at the Safeway on MLK Boulevard. The company is called Black Life Matters Trucking, and it works with a youth organization to help provide jobs for teens. They say that damage is upwards of $50,000. They've set up a GoFundMe account to help. Someone stole gear from a band ahead of a show last night at the Roseland Theater. The Brian Jonestown Massacre is an alternative band from San Francisco. Despite the theft, the show went on last night. Lead singer Anton Newcomb tweeted pictures and a list of what was stolen. It includes several guitars and amps worth thousands of dollars. The band is now asking people to keep an eye out on resale sites. Investigators trying to figure out what caused this boat to catch fire in the North Portland Harbor. Crews worked from the shore and on the water just after 3 yesterday morning to get it under control. Then they had to keep the boat from sinking. No one was on board and no one was hurt. And those are a few of your morning headlines.
Well, if you'll be hiking in the Gorge this spring, you should know road work is closing the exit to a popular trail. And that's just one of the projects that could affect your drive along the Columbia River. Yesterday here on Sunrise, we mentioned exit 41, the Eagle Creek exit. It's going to close this Thursday so crews can do repairs. Don Hamilton with ODOT says the closure is expected to last several weeks. He says crews will be repairing a bridge, too, with other projects to come this summer.
Working on the Tooth Rock Tunnel, there's some areas around in there. That's one of those old tunnels that we've got right in the area in there, too. And we're also working on the Mitchell Point Tunnel. That's going to be a beautiful addition to the historic Columbia River Highway.
As you drive along I-84 the next couple of months, you'll see crews working along the interstate. ODOT says make sure to plan your trips accordingly.
All right, here we go with Rod Hill back in the studio. Rod, I'm cheating right now. I'm looking over your shoulder.
Yes.
At the big board on the wall behind you. I see they got the rain totals spelled out there.
It's the record chase. We started talking about this yesterday. Could this become one of the top 5 or so wettest Aprils on record? Again, the wettest mark, 5.26 inches back in 93. A normal April at the top of your screen is just shy of 3 inches. So where are we at? Well, we're approaching 4 inches right now. So I think all these numbers are at least in play. We could pick up a good 1/4 of an inch today. We could get another 1/2 of an inch of rain tomorrow. So we'll keep an eye on that. And on the heels of course, the driest April we had ever had in the records just 1 year ago. All right, satellite picture. There's Wednesday's front, so that's more rain coming in tomorrow. We had a front yesterday, and then trailing that front is this little ball of cloudiness right here. So that's a disturbance that's already starting to push some more rain along the central coast. So here's the way Futurecast shows at 8:30 this morning. Heavy rain hitting Newport from that disturbance is just out to sea right now. And I want you to notice, as I play this forward, generally today we have more rain as you travel south of Portland and far less rain as you move north up into Washington. So I'll keep my hand right here. Now, see, look, we're on the northern edge, Portland. There's some heavy rain at Salem. What's this, at noon? And then that does push off. And then by 6 o'clock tonight, most of today's rain is over, period. And we have drying coming in overnight tonight. We still think it's dry up and down I-5 early tomorrow morning. But, I mean, this is 7 o'clock, and there's the rain already starting to show up. So that'll be moving through into the morning hours, and then much of tomorrow looks like yesterday, which was fairly steady rain right through the heart of the day. All right, temperature map. Everybody's just above freezing out east. So we have 40s here on the west side, including 43 in Salem. Good morning to you. 7-day forecast. 53 today. Again, look for stormy skies, possibly some hail, rumbles of thunder. Tomorrow, the rain coming in, scattered showers Thursday. Friday, quite a bit drier. Then the weekend, Saturday, dry, 63. Sunday, dry, 66. 66, that would be April. Kind of typical April.
Somewhere the crowd is roaring, Rod. You don't have them in the studio, so you can't hear them, but somewhere the crowd is roaring.
It's a tough crowd.
Let's talk about what's coming up next here on Sunrise. We're talking good energy. In fact, we're talking about it all week long as we head towards Earth Day on Friday. So coming up next, we're going to hear from volunteers who helped out with a recent cleanup effort in Hillsborough.